We've all heard of K-pop, K-dramas, K-beauty. The Korean wave, or Hallyu, is this massive global force, right? But what's coming next? Well, after all the catchy music and the shows you can't stop watching, something new is quietly taking the world stage, one page at a time. So, let's get into it. Is Korean literature actually poised to be the next big wave?
And hey, don't just take my word for it. Major outlets like The Guardian are already putting it out there. This isn't just some small, niche trend we're talking about. It's a real movement that's grabbing the attention of readers and critics all over the globe. So how did this literary wave even start to build up so much steam?
Okay, look at this timeline. Because what's really wild is the acceleration. It kicked off with a huge win back in 2012 for Shin Kyung-suk's Please Look After Mom. Then, boom. In 2016, Han Kang's The Vegetarian just explodes onto the scene, nabbing a Man Booker International Prize. Fast forward to 2021, and K-literature is even winning prestigious genre awards like the Dagger for crime fiction. And for the grand finale, just imagine it's 2024, and Han Kang becomes the first Asian woman to win the Nobel Prize in Literature. I mean, wow, that would absolutely cement its place on the world map. But getting to this point meant clearing a massive, massive hurdle.
And that hurdle, that enormous challenge, is translation. You see, it's not just about swapping one word for another. It's about carrying the entire soul of a story across this huge cultural and linguistic gap. And that process is so tricky, it sparks this giant philosophical debate.
In fact, there's this common saying among Korean translators that really gets to the heart of it. Byonyogen, bonyogida. It basically means translation is treason. And that phrase just perfectly captures the dilemma. Do you stay 100% faithful to the original text, even if it makes the result kind of clunky and unreadable? Or do you focus on making it flow beautifully for the new audience but risk betraying the author's original meaning?
And this is where that debate just comes roaring to life. On one side, you have thinkers like Vladimir Nabokov. He wanted the stuffed eagle, a perfectly preserved, literal translation, but one that might be totally lifeless. But on the other side, you've got a view like F. Scott Fitzgerald's. He would have preferred a living sparrow, a translation that maybe isn't a perfect copy, but it feels alive, it breathes, it soars in its new language. You can see the stakes are incredibly high.
And you know, this problem goes way deeper than just grammar. The theorist Walter Benjamin pointed this out with a really simple example. Take the words pain, brought, and bread. Sure, they all translate to bread, but do they mean the same thing? Really think about it. A French baguette, a German rye, a loaf of American sliced white, they bring up completely different cultures, different tastes, different memories. You're not just translating a word, you're trying to translate a whole world of experience.
So in the end, as the philosopher Paul Ricoeur put it, perfection just isn't the goal. It can't be. Translation is really an art of beautiful, necessary compromise. The happiness of translation, as he called it, comes from accepting that something is always going to be lost and then finding the beauty in what you are able to carry across that bridge.
So, if translation is this massive, almost impossible challenge, how in the world did K-literature manage to build that bridge for its stories? Well, the answer wasn't just luck. It was a deliberate, systematic, full-on national effort. Just look at the numbers here. It's staggering. From the 70s all the way through the 90s, you were seeing maybe 4 Korean books translated per year, just a tiny trickle. But then, everything changed. In 2001, the government created the Korea Literature Translation Institute, and by the 2010s, that number skyrocketed to over 20 books a year. This wasn't just a little bit of growth, it was the start of a powerful, self-sustaining engine. And this right here is that engine, what you could call a virtuous cycle. It all starts with systematic support, money for really high-quality translations. That leads to more books getting published and reviewed around the world. All that new visibility results in major award nominations and even wins. And those wins, they drive up reader demand like crazy. And what does that demand do? It fuels even more investment, kicking the whole powerful cycle right back into gear. But look, all the support and systems in the world don't matter if the stories themselves don't connect with people, right? So what is it about these books that resonates so deeply? Well, it's their incredible range and their universal heart.
Take a book like Shin Kyung-suk's Please Look After Mom. On the surface, it's a story about a family trying to find their lost mother, but it's really a profound look at things every single one of us understands. Family, memory, sacrifice, and that often painful shift from a traditional world to a modern one. It's a story that feels deeply Korean, but its emotional core is completely universal.
Or think about the absolute phenomenon that was Kim Ji-young, born 1982. This novel, which just lays bare the everyday sexism a Korean woman faces, sold over 300,000 copies outside of Korea. Why? Because women from London to Tokyo to São Paulo picked it up, and they saw their own lives, their own struggles reflected in Kim Ji-young's story.
And K-literature is not just about this gut-wrenching realism. Not at all. You've got authors like Bora Chung who dives headfirst into surreal sci-fi and horror. Her stories are packed with curses, greed, and the truly bizarre, but she uses all these fantastic elements to deliver some incredibly sharp social commentary. This amazing breadth, from quiet family dramas to completely wild speculative fiction, is a huge part of why it's catching on everywhere.
So, this brings us to a really crucial point. Even though we're talking about the K-wave, the way K-literature found its success is fundamentally different from the path that K-pop took.
K-pop, a lot of the time, succeeds with a strategy you could call de-Koreanization. You know, it uses English lyrics, works with producers from all over the world, features band members from different countries, all to create a product with this broad global appeal. K-literature does the exact opposite. Its success comes from its hyper-contextual uniqueness. It doubles down on what makes it specifically Korean, diving deep into the country's unique history, its social pressures, and its cultural details.
So here's the big takeaway. The thing to really remember, specificity is the new universal. Global readers aren't connecting with these stories in spite of how Korean they are connecting with them because of it. It's the deeply specific, totally authentic portrayal of life in Korea that somehow reveals these profound truths about being human that resonate with absolutely everyone.
And that really just leaves us with one final big thought. The rise of K-literature proves that some of the most powerful, original, and moving stories out there aren't in the global mainstream. They're found in the specific, unique cultures of the world. And it just makes you wonder, what other incredible stories are out there just waiting for a translator to build that bridge?